Don't force the funk. Don't force the funk.
Makers Plus.
If you didn't know, I just dropped a record quite literally last week on Friday, and the name of the record is called Come and Go, and it features a few artists that, if you haven't heard of them before, one of them goes by the name of Mick Jenkins, the other goes by Saba, and one more gentleman from our Makers Club, aka Cinto the Chord Guy, did bless the record with chords. And so I was gonna open up this session and show it to you guys before we make our final sample and hop off the stream after making, a sample, and then, flip it and then give that to you guys to be able to flip as well before the end of the night is up. So that is kind of like the plan for the remainder of the stream. So before I begin and show you guys what the session looks like, I got to give you a little bit of history about how all of these worlds kind of like collided, right? So Come and Go goes back to 2021, okay? So even before that, during the pandemic, I think it was like November or December, I got a chance to get into a session on Zoom with Saba at the time. And I remember I was kind of geeked out because I was just at home. I had just, got a management team who has, saw me posting a lot of beat videos at the time. And those same gentlemen, shout out to Dylan Raymer. He is my manager. He's been my manager for, good Lord, about 5 years now. And I met him back in college. But long story short, couple connects, boom, boom. I get a session to do with Saba. And I remember I had built a good rapport because we made a great record on Zoom. And the following year in 2021, I had a month-long trip in LA. It was like back in August. If you guys remember, I was streaming back in August of 2021. And what happened was I was, long story short, just cooking up, creating, making a bunch of stuff. And I had one particular session with Mick Jenkins in 2021. And so that same day I took a picture and I had made a bunch of other stuff with him. And what came from this session was the infancy of what was the song Come and Go. I originally made like a beat off of like the original drums from that record. And so let me see here. I actually have the original version of what Come and Go used to sound like before I decided to redo it, but I had an original version for Come and Go, and it sounds a little bit different. The drums are pretty much the same, but everything else did change a little bit. But it was gonna be originally on The Funk Will Prevail. I just never got a chance to finish it. So that's a crazy connection. I made this beat literally around the time of The Funk Will Prevail. So let me see if I can find this thing. It was a thing called the Forever Drafts. I think I could probably find it real quick. Let's see here. I think I might be able to find it. Bounces. Yeah, I had a bunch of stuff that did make this record. Let's see here. If it's there, I might be able to play it. If not, I won't even trip. Badges was one. Don't Be Late Home Cooking. Rough Bounces. Yeah, there was stuff that was supposed to end up on a project. It just never did. You know what? I'm gonna pull the session up real quick. I'm gonna pull the session up. Show you guys right here. Come and Go. And I'm gonna show you right here. It's March 2021. That's how old this track is. This is quite literally my first collaboration with them. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I think I might be able to find it. 129. This was the original one, guys. Okay, this is the original beat. It was called Waves. This is the original. Yeah, this was the original. And open up the brand new one. Yeah, this is the original, bro. So yeah, that was the original track. And eventually that turned into this beat. So pretty much everything about the beat stayed the same except for the chords. The voices stayed, everything pretty much stayed the same. I just added some extra layers and I'll go piece by piece as I play this. So my vocals pretty much are still there. These drums, these are drums from my Volume 8 sound pack. If you guys remember when I came out with Volume 8, that was roughly around the time that I had just started the process of what became the Funk Will Prevail. And so these drums are from my Volume 8. These are percussions. I had like a few loops in here that kind of like create the entire thing. So this kick drum, that's all Volume 8. The snare, the hi-hats. I have this loop kind of like sitting in a few of my previous sound packs. If you're curious to peep game on it, it's in my Volume 9. Like each pack kind of like snowballs into another. Okay. So I'm really big in practicing reusing sounds, right? So if we were to mute the drums and just listen to everything else, this bell as well is from my Volume 8 sound pack. And I just simply reversed it right back into it. And here's the craziest part. So even the chords, the sounds, around this time in 2021, I had not come up with the memo piano or the electric key, but what was kind of like the lead over into what became memo piano and electric key, I was using addictive keys for pretty much everything. So this right here is an addictive keys patch. It's like the regular old degular patch. I might actually, see if I can hit up addictive keys to see if we could drop this patch or something. So here's also another funny thing too. The guitars that you guys hear in it, these are not real guitars. Okay, so in Ableton, there is a Ableton Live instrument. If you go into your instruments, if you have like the full version of Ableton, there is a instrument called tension. It's a very unique instrument simply because it is intended to synthesize a guitar instrument. And what makes it so fascinating is there are different functions for this synthesizer. You can synthesize a bow, you can synthesize a hammer dropping on a string, a pluck, which is the plectrum function. And for this one, I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the most dry preset with this. And I basically have like a very simple, almost muted bass sound for it. It sounds like someone like plucking a string. And then underneath it, I have one more pass of a preset underneath this, which is called the Get Right preset. And if any of you guys know from the Funk Will Prevail, there's a song called Get Right. And this is the same patch. It's not even like tonal. It just texture wise, it sounds like there's a little, like it just sounds like it's going through a really bad amplifier. And then when you layer those two together, you get crazy. And so layering that together, I have another one shot from an old sound pack from volume, I want to say 2, and it's called Lude 808, and that is what I'm layering on top of this. Now, if any of you guys know the lore behind like my original sound, before I was using like the essential bass, before I was using like any synthesizers and like plugins, I was using like dedicated one-shot samples for pretty much everything. So if I had a bass sound, I was programming the bass like one note at a time. So I would basically take one note, chop it up, and as it was going, I would just chop it up and play it verbatim. So when you add all those layers together, you get something that sounds like this. Now, this is the part that's really fascinating. So when I was early on messing around with Operator, I would simply just mess around with simple pulse like one shots, and I would make these simple like really distorted kind of like synthesizers just by using a few things. So on Operator, you got like a really simple short like sine wave that is, of course, thrown through an auto filter. This is the OG auto filter from the original Ableton days. It's the auto filter legacy version. And I threw it through at the time they had just came out with pedal. And if you guys know the OG days of me messing with like the essential bass, this was on it. This pedal rack was on it, but then I got swapped out for saturator on the Ableton Live program. But then you add a little saturator, a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay, and you get this synthesizer sound that kind of floats throughout the whole thing. So as I've kind of broken down a little bit in the track, everything is pretty much simple from there. And so you stack all the vocals and everything right there.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go.
Now here's something funny, right? Mixed vocal. Mixed vocal was not necessarily a challenge, but it was tricky because when we made the original version, we had recorded it in such a professional space and everything. And I remember having this moment of like, I know it's gonna turn out crazy once I get his verse, I get Saba's verse, it's a wrap. And so we only had actually like the first half of the song for the beginning. And actually, I think y'all are gonna laugh at this if I showed you the original Come and Go. There's a version of Mick where he just drops the microphone and just walks away because he didn't have anything else to write at the time that we wrote this. Mind you, this was 2021 when we made the original version. So hold on. Let's see here. This right here is it. This right here is it. The original. I think I might be able to find it. So we had the original, right? Let's see here. Because I had this instrumental for a while. I won't even worry about that. The original version, he just stops. He didn't even complete his verse. When he says, street lights one good time, he like stopped. In the original version, he just didn't say anything. He just put his headphones down and he was like, that was it. But thank God Saba heard it and Mick Jenkins was like, nah, let me go ahead and finish my verse. So shout out to Saba, but let me go back to the mixing on this. So what made this vocal so interesting to mix, because I'm going to play you guys what it sounds like dry. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean by like, this was tricky to hear. So this is what it sounds like with the entire preset on it, right? Like I'm going to take the preset on, I'm going to play it solo, but then I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to show y'all what I mean when I say this was a tricky one to mix.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go.
So check this out. I'm going to take off the preset and watch how his voice sounds.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go. You either in or you out. You either in or you out. And if you out, you need to take another route. We don't just run with those.
So you can hear that, like, compared to what I was getting from like Saba's like recording, there's a lot of room in his, like you can hear the noise floor of his room.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go.
So I was thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it simple. Okay. So pretty much I have KFX pretty much on every single track. And for this, I didn't have anything on the initial one, but I did try a few things. I have a preset. It's called Cowboy Preset simply because when Paul, if you guys know Cowboy Killer, I made a preset for when he was here. And every time I do like a rap vocal or anything, I usually throw it through that preset and just adjust as time goes on. So this is basically the KFX with a tweak, like a giant tweak of just slight little EQs and slight little shelving to be able to make everything sound very like cut. Like it just sounds like you're getting a direct cut vocal. So initially, the first thought I thought was I got to get rid of this room noise. So there is a preset in Ableton on OTT. If you guys have the full version, of it, there is a multi-band compressor preset that removes room noise. And so check this out. I dropped this reduce ambience and watch this.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go. You either in or you out. You either in or you out. And if you out, you need to take another route. We don't just run with those. Most of mine been riding since the training wheels.
And so when you take that alongside my Cowboy preset, which the Cowboy preset does have an auto-tune on it, but I didn't use it much. I have a gate that's slightly on threshold at -56. All these are kind of like according to taste. So I had to listen to his voice for a little bit to be able to tweak it. Plus, I do have footage of me mixing this record live here on the stream, and I'll definitely have that uploaded on a later date. But I have a slight EQ kind of like touching the highs. I shelved a little bit one more time around 70 hertz. And everything else is just slight KFX working its course. You know, KFX is throughout the whole thing. And so hearing it, you're hearing all of these, especially this preset. This is a KFX preset. I'm going to just zoom in on it because if you guys get curious, this is quite literally what I'm using for Mick Jenkins' vocal on here. So it is indeed KFX that is doing it alongside a slight OTT with the multi-band preset. And so check this out.
Mama used to say it ain't no come and go. You either in or you out. You either in or you out. And if you out, you need to take another route. We don't just run with those.
And so what's so beautiful is as the track is going on,
with no destination, tag along with no hesitation. Telling all my niggas they can't come and go.
And you hear Saba coming in and then going out.
Cause it really ain't that different at all.
Grandma used to say it ain't no game.
And that's probably my favorite part within the song because you hear Mick finishing, but then you hear Saba charging up a little bit. So you hear this right here. This is the craziest part. I remember thinking this. I'm like, this is cool.
It really ain't that different at all.
Grandma used to say it ain't no games getting played till the dishes get washed. Let's play a game. Which one her grandkids got the nick in his socks?
And I did the same thing to Saba's voice as well. I try to keep them pretty much the same so you're getting like the same response. So anybody that's mixing, I'm telling you this just is like on par. If you want to keep your voices pretty much the same, take notice of your presets and keep them pretty identical of when you go from each different voices, because each voices need different treatments. But for this, it was a very simply recorded record. So
was a mission impossible to keep track of all the grams while she simmered the pot. Can't try and skip to the end before you finish the plot. Watch them closely, they can find they self entering op.
My favorite part throughout this is the fact that Sento is playing key.
Come and go.
Is this part of the KFX preset bundle? I have not updated it. That is why I was waiting to update it. But if you want to get that preset, this preset is quite literally what I'm using. Even for Sento keys, I have KFX pretty much on all of it. I'm gonna definitely drop a new preset for Mick and Saba, maybe fairly soon. But yeah, these are the presets I pretty much used.
Come and go.
It's crazy hearing all of it collectively. It just sounds like it gels very well together. But all of this is just kind of like I equate mixing this record to like making like a really good bowl of chili. And here's the greatest part, right? Having someone like Sento to play on top of this, you get some really insane, intricate stuff because he gave me one recording where he's just simply playing on top of it, right?
No peace standing, keep it 100. I'm young, but I'm a centenarian, trying to lighten my load.
So check this out. My favorite part is at the very end, if you mute the drums and all the chords, my favorite like chord progression that he's doing on this is crazy.
Mama used to...
This right here. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole record. All of these sounds that you guys can peep game on, all of these sounds are pretty much in my volume 8 sample pack. All of this is. Even when I do stuff like this. It's kind of crazy. Oh, and let me not forget, I just kind of had like a filter down, and actually the filter is what's kind of crazy here. Before KFX was Acid Effects, and Acid Effects used to have pretty much everything that KFX has is just a previous older version that only worked for Ableton Live 10 and down. And so what's filtering it is this thing called analog EQ. So if you take away analog EQ, it's just a pitched down version of the drum break. And I thought that was really cool. But when you put the filter on top of it, analog EQ basically is a filter. It's basically a filter. So, and also too, around the same time, I was heavy on using Sango's percussions in all my beats because, you know, Sango is the big bro. So he has this loop called Cricket Chirp, which basically is just a little like Brazilian percussion instrument that just shakes. It just sounds like a shaker. Almost sounds like a tambourine, but I just remember having this thought of like, this is really, really sick. And so when you layer it together, you get something crazy like this. And also too, let me also tell you this. There's a layer of my electric key, or not electric key, but there's a layer of sound that I have called Deep Plate, which is a one shot from my volume 1. If anybody's like been around since the early 2020 days, I have a sound called Deep Plate, and it's just a simple chord. It's just a chord one shot. And so check this out. When you layer it together, it like makes it a little bit bigger. And then lastly, this was also another preset. If you guys know that there's Electric Grand, the Electric Grand from Addictive Keys. All of these decisions basically led into like, you know, I was heavy into this 1970s phase back then. So everything just sounded like the 1970s. And my favorite part about all of this is all the parts are very simple. They're not too crazy. It's just very simply enough to be able to you could absorb it. Like you could play this. All of the parts of this song can be played, whether you got a guitar, whether you got keys. All of the parts of this it's just the different. And that's what I'm saying. Like you see all the layers, but when you really look at all the layers, they're all doing small things on their own very well. So when you play the whole thing in totality, if you just take away like certain elements, you could hear what certain things are doing. So if you take away the I'm gonna show you. Watch. It's just very simple, but all the pieces are doing something different. So, and simple isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we discredit the simplicity behind making simple choices with stuff and then listening back. And now even me listening back 4 years later, I'm like, man, this was it's very effective. You know, sometimes the most simple things are very effective. And so if you guys have had a chance to stream this record, please listen to it. We've been sitting on it for 4 years, and now it's the perfect time to have all of it. But I just remember playing the demo of what I already had for Saba, and Saba immediately started writing. So in the video of me promoting this song, the moment that I played it for him, he literally wrote all of this, layered all of it. And that video is quite literally what was happening that night. That's how the song happened. So y'all seeing like Saba sitting there he wrote what he did for this song on that video.
Grandma used to say it ain't no games getting played till the dishes get washed. Let's play a game. Which one her grandkids got the nick in his socks?
And shout out to Cinto the Chord Guy for being one of the most gifted individuals for moments like these. Cause I remember making this and I'll definitely be uploading a video very soon where I'm like, hey, Cinto, like I need your keys on this. And he gave us 2 parts. He gave us one part where it's like boop, 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 boop. And yeah, that's the breakdown for the record, guys. I hope y'all dig it, and prayerfully we'll have another one ready for you soon. Yeah. So yeah.